Girl says she was at Daddy's house. Mom's heart stops when she finds out who Daddy is. It started as an ordinary evening, the kind that blurred into the next with the comforting predictability of routine. Olivia Carter stood in her kitchen, absent-mindedly stirring a pot of pasta, while her 6-year-old daughter, Lily, sat at the dining table, drawing with her crayons. The air smelled of garlic and butter, a simple meal for a simple night. But that night was anything but simple. "Mommy, I had so much fun at Daddy's house today," Lily chirped, her tiny fingers clutching a blue crayon as she filled in the sky on her latest masterpiece. Olivia's hand froze over the pot. Her heart skipped a beat, then pounded against her ribs. She turned slowly, her mind racing. Daddy's house? She forced a smile, kneeling beside Lily. "Sweetheart, what do you mean?" "Daddy's house." Lily nodded enthusiastically, her brown curls bouncing. "Yeah, I played with toys, and he gave me cookies. He even called me his princess." Olivia swallowed hard, gripping the edge of the table for support. Her ex-husband, Jason, hadn't seen Lily in over a year. He had visitation rights, but after breaking too many promises, Olivia had stopped hoping he'd show up. He wasn't Daddy anymore, not really. So who was Lily talking about? A chill crept up Olivia's spine as she tried to steady her voice. "Lily, honey, when did you go to Daddy's house?" "Today." Lily beamed, completely unaware of the storm brewing in her mother's chest. "After school. He picked me up and took me there." Olivia's stomach turned to stone. She had picked Lily up from school. No one else. Her grip on the table tightened. "Lily, did someone come get you? Was it a teacher? A friend's parent?" Lily just giggled. "No. Silly. Daddy picked me up himself. He even knew my favorite ice cream flavor. Strawberry with rainbow sprinkles." The room suddenly felt too small, the air too thick. Olivia's mind reeled. This wasn't possible. And yet, Lily's innocent face showed no signs of lying. Her breath caught in her throat as an unshakable dread settled in her bones. If Jason hadn't taken her, then who had? A mother's worst fear. Olivia forced herself to breathe, but every inhale felt tight, like her ribs were closing in on her lungs. She sat down beside Lily, gripping the chair as though the earth beneath her might crumble. "Honey," she said carefully, masking the terror in her voice, "can you tell me what Daddy's house looked like?" Lily hummed, kicking her little feet under the table. It was really big, like a castle, and it smelled nice, like flowers and soap. Daddy had a big couch, and we watched cartoons together. He said he missed me so much." Olivia's fingers trembled. Jason didn't live in a big house. He rented a tiny one-bedroom apartment on the other side of town, a place she knew for a fact he never even decorated. And as unreliable as he was, Jason would never take Lily without letting her know. He wouldn't risk a legal battle. Something was terribly wrong. "Lily, did Daddy say anything else? Did he tell you where he lived?" Lily giggled again. "He said I'm a special girl, and that I should call him Daddy all the time. He said he's been waiting for me for a long, long time." A shiver ran down Olivia's spine. This wasn't Jason. Her pulse pounded in her ears. She reached for her phone, fingers trembling as she scrolled to Jason's contact. He wasn't her favorite person, but if there was any chance at all, that he had taken Lily, she needed to hear it from him. The phone rang once, twice, 3 times. Voicemail. She clenched her jaw, then texted him. "Call me. Now." Lily was still drawing, humming to herself as if nothing was wrong. Olivia's mind raced with a million possibilities, each one more terrifying than the last. Who had taken her daughter? How had they gotten her from school? And why was Lily so comfortable with them? She felt sick. "Baby, what did Daddy look like?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Lily tilted her head, considering. He had dark hair, and he was tall, taller than Uncle Matt, and he smiled a lot. He had really nice teeth. That ruled out Jason completely. Jason was stocky, blond, and had a chipped tooth from a bar fight years ago. Olivia's blood ran cold. She pressed her hand to her forehead, fighting the nausea creeping up her throat. Someone, some stranger, had taken her daughter, and Lily didn't even realize it. Her phone buzzed. Jason's name flashed across the screen. Olivia's heart slammed against her ribs as she answered. "Jason? What?" His voice was groggy, like he had just woken up. "What do you want?" "Where are you?" she demanded, gripping the phone so tightly her knuckles turned white. "At home. Where else?" Olivia squeezed her eyes shut. "Jason, did you pick Lily up from school today?" There was a pause, then a sharp laugh. "Are you serious? You think I'd just show up out of nowhere and grab her? I haven't even seen her in months." Her stomach dropped. "So you're telling me you weren't with her today? You didn't take her anywhere?" Jesus live. "No." His voice hardened. "What the hell is going on?" Olivia's head swam. She wanted to scream, to cry, to throw up. Because if Jason wasn't Daddy, then who was? She forced herself to stay calm. Panicking wouldn't help Lily. "I need to go," she muttered, hanging up before Jason could argue. She turned back to her daughter, who was still happily coloring, blissfully unaware of the danger she had been in. She needed answers, and she needed them now. A mother's nightmare. Olivia's hands trembled as she set her phone down. Her skin felt clammy, her stomach twisted in knots. She had hoped, prayed, that Jason had somehow been the answer, that this was just another one of his reckless decisions. But now, she was standing at the edge of something far more terrifying. Someone else had taken her daughter. Someone who convinced Lily he was Daddy. For a long moment, Olivia just stared at Lily, her heart pounding so hard she could feel it in her throat. The little girl was completely at ease, humming a tune while she colored a bright sun in the corner of her picture. How could she be so calm? How could she have been with a stranger and not realized anything was wrong? Taking a deep breath, Olivia forced her voice to stay steady. "Sweetheart," she said, brushing a strand of hair from Lily's face. "Can you tell me how you got to Daddy's house? Did he come inside your school?" Lily's crayon paused mid-stroke. She pursed her lips, as if trying to remember. "No, I don't think so," she said finally. "I was waiting outside, and he came in a big black car. He said he was taking me for a special surprise." Olivia's stomach turned to ice. A big black car. Her mind flashed back to this afternoon, when she had picked Lily up. She hadn't noticed anything unusual. No suspicious cars, no strange people lingering nearby. But then again, she hadn't been looking. Her throat tightened. Did anyone else see him? Maybe your teacher? Or your friend's mommy? Lily shrugged. I don't know. But he said it was a secret, so I shouldn't tell anyone. The blood drained from Olivia's face. A secret. Her worst fear was coming true. Someone had groomed her daughter. Someone had made her feel safe enough to go with them. No questions asked. Her hands clenched into fists. Who the hell was this man? And how long had he been watching her daughter? Without another word, Olivia stood up and grabbed her phone, her fingers flying over the screen as she searched for the number to Lily's school. The line rang. Once. Twice. Then, Greenwood Elementary. "This is Miss Conway speaking." Olivia's voice came out sharp. "This is Olivia Carter, Lily Carter's mom. I need to know if anyone unauthorized picked her up from school today." There was a pause, then a cautious response. "Ms. Carter, I don't believe so. The children are only released to those on the approved pickup list." Ice spread through Olivia's veins. "Are you sure?" she pressed. No teacher saw her leave with someone unexpected. Another pause. "Let me check our records." The seconds stretched into an eternity as Olivia paced the kitchen, her heart slamming against her ribs. She could hear Lily still humming in the background, so innocent, so unaware of the danger she had been in. Finally, Miss Conway came back on the line. "Miss Carter, I've checked our logs. According to our records, Lily was picked up by you Olivia's breath caught. What? Our staff logged that you picked her up at 3:15 p.m. Her grip on the phone tightened. That's impossible, she whispered. I picked her up at 3:15, but she's telling me she was taken somewhere else before I got there. A sharp intake of breath on the other end. Ms. Carter, are you saying someone took Lily before you arrived? The horror of the situation finally sank in. Olivia's knees nearly buckled. Yes, and that meant someone had impersonated her. Someone who knew Lily well enough to convince her to leave. And now, Olivia needed to find out who, before it was too late. The missing piece as Olivia's grip on the phone tightened, as Ms. Conway's voice wavered on the other end. Ms. Carter, if someone took Lily before you arrived, that's a serious security breach. We need to inform the authorities immediately. Authorities. Olivia hadn't even thought that far ahead yet. Her mind was still spinning, trying to process how this had happened. Someone had convinced Lily to leave the school with them, and worse, no one had noticed. Do you have security cameras? She asked, her voice sharp. Yes, Ms. Conway said, but I'll have to contact the administrator to access the footage. Do it. Olivia didn't care if she sounded aggressive. I need to know who took my daughter. Hanging up, she turned to Lily, who was now carefully cutting out one of her drawings with pink safety scissors. She looked so peaceful, so unaware of the storm brewing around her. Olivia's phone buzzed. A text from Jason. What the hell is going on? Who took Lily? She ignored it. Right now, she needed answers, not Jason's outrage. As she paced the kitchen, her mind ran through every possibility. Could this be someone from her past? An old friend? A forgotten acquaintance? Or worse, someone who had been watching them? Her thoughts were interrupted by a knock at the door. Olivia's heart leaped into her throat. She wasn't expecting anyone. Moving cautiously, she approached the door and peered through the peephole. Relief and frustration hit her at once. It was Matt, her older brother. She swung the door open, her nerves frayed. Matt, what are you doing here? His sharp blue eyes scanned her face, immediately picking up on her distress. Jason called me, said something's wrong with Lily. Olivia exhaled sharply and stepped aside, letting him in. It's bad, Matt. Someone took her from school today. Someone she thinks is her father. Matt's expression darkened. Jason? No, she shook her head. She described a tall man with dark hair and perfect teeth. That's not Jason. And the school has no record of anyone else picking her up. Matt ran a hand through his hair. Jesus, you need to call the cops. I know, Olivia admitted. I need to see the security footage first. Matt crossed his arms. And what if this guy tries to take her again? Olivia swallowed hard. That was her greatest fear. Lily had trusted this man once. What if he wasn't finished with her yet? The breaking point, Olivia clenched her fists, trying to steady the whirlwind of emotions tearing through her. Fear, anger, helplessness, all crashing into her like waves in a storm. Matt stood beside her, his jaw set, his arms crossed as he processed everything she had just told him. This is serious, Liv, he said. If someone took her once, they could try again. She knew that. It was the one thought she couldn't push away. I need to see that security footage, she muttered, grabbing her phone. If I can just... A sharp chime cut through the air. An email from Ms. Conway. Her fingers trembled as she opened it. Subject: Urgent, Greenwood Elementary security footage, Ms. Carter. Attached is the security footage from today's dismissal. I have also forwarded this to local authorities. Please review and let us know if you recognize the individual. Best, Ms. Conway. Olivia's pulse pounded in her ears. She clicked the attachment. The video player loaded and grainy footage appeared. Matt moved closer, watching over her shoulder as the clip played. It showed the front of the school, where kids streamed out, running toward waiting cars and buses. Then Lily. Her tiny pink backpack bounced as she walked toward the pickup area. A man stepped into frame. Tall, dark-haired, wearing a crisp suit, his face just slightly turned away from the camera. Olivia's breath caught. Lily hesitated for only a second before smiling and taking his hand. And then, just like that, he walked her off school grounds. No struggle, no hesitation, like she knew him. Olivia's stomach twisted painfully. "Do you recognize him?" Matt asked, his voice tense. She swallowed hard, staring at the blurry image. Something about him felt familiar, but she couldn't place it. "No," she admitted. "But Lily did." Matt exhaled sharply. "Then we need to find out who the hell he is." Before Olivia could respond, another chime sounded. A second email, this one from an unknown sender. Subject: "You should be more careful." Olivia's heart stopped. With shaking hands, she opened it. Inside was a single attachment, a photo of Lily, sitting on a stranger's lap, smiling. The caption read, "She's always been my princess." The room spun. Olivia felt like the air had been sucked from her lungs. Matt cursed under his breath. "Liv, who the hell is this?" Olivia's entire body went cold. Because now, she wasn't just fighting to understand what had happened. She was fighting to keep her daughter safe, before it was too late. The hunt for answers. Olivia stared at the screen, her pulse hammering in her ears. The email's subject line burned into her mind. "You should be more careful." And the photo, Lily, smiling in a stranger's arms, completely at ease. Her stomach churned, while rising in her throat. This wasn't just a mistake. This was deliberate. Someone had planned this. Someone had gotten close to her daughter. Close enough that Lily trusted him. Matt grabbed a laptop and zoomed in on the image. The man's face was just barely visible, his sharp features illuminated by the dim light in the photo. His eyes, dark and unreadable, locked onto the camera like he knew this moment would be seen. "This guy is toying with you," Matt muttered, jaw clenched. "Sending this picture, it's a power move. He wants you to know he's watching." Olivia swallowed hard, her hands shaking. "We need to call the cops," Matt said firmly, already reaching for his phone. "No," Olivia blurted out, grabbing his arm. Matt shot her an incredulous look. "No, Liv, this is serious. Some psycho is claiming Lily as his princess, and you don't want to involve the police?" Olivia's mind raced. Think about it, Matt. He had access to her school. He walked her out without anyone questioning it. That means he knew what he was doing. So, what if he's watching the cops too? What if going to them makes things worse? I can't risk Lily's safety. I need to figure out who this man is first. Matt exhaled sharply, rubbing a hand over his face. Fine, but we need to act fast. Olivia turned back to the laptop, staring at the image. She zoomed in on Lily's shirt. There was a small embroidered logo on the collar. Her heart skipped a beat. "That's not what she was wearing today," she whispered. Matt leaned closer. "What?" "She left the house in a yellow dress. But in this picture," Olivia pointed at the screen, "she's wearing a white shirt with a little blue logo." Matt's eyes darkened. That means this wasn't today. The realization sent a fresh wave of terror through Olivia. Lily had been with this man before today, and she hadn't said a word. She sucked in a shaky breath. "I need to talk to her." Moving quickly, she walked into the living room, where Lily was still sitting on the floor, stacking blocks into a wobbly tower. Olivia crouched beside her, trying to keep her voice calm. "Sweetheart." Lily looked up, her bright blue eyes full of innocence. "Yeah, Mommy." Olivia swallowed the fear clawing at her throat. "That picture you showed me earlier, the one you drew of Daddy's house, can you tell me more about it?" Lily's smile widened. "Oh yeah, it was so big. And there was a pool. And Daddy gave me cookies." Olivia forced herself to nod. "Did you go there more than once?" Lily giggled. "Uh-huh. Daddy says I'm a special girl, so I can visit any time I want." The word sent a chill down Olivia's spine. This man had been seeing her daughter in secret. For how long? Lily, she whispered, her voice unsteady. "Did Daddy ever say his real name?" Lily scrunched her nose in thought. Then, with a bright smile, she said something that made Olivia's blood run cold. "Yeah, he said his name is Ethan." The room spun. Matt froze beside her, his face draining of color. Olivia felt like the world had just cracked open beneath her feet, because she knew that name, and if it was really him, Lily was in even greater danger than she had ever imagined. The truth uncovered. Olivia's breath came in sharp, shallow gasps. Ethan, the name rattled through her brain like a gunshot. Matt turned to her, his expression dark with understanding. "Liv, Ethan," she swallowed hard, her throat tightening around the words. "It can't be him. He's supposed to be gone." Matt's jaw clenched. "Apparently he's not." A sickening wave of memories crashed over Olivia. Ethan Westwood, the man who had once charmed her, who had made her feel like the center of his universe. Before she discovered who he really was, before she found out what he was capable of, a con artist, a manipulator, a liar. And now he had her daughter. Olivia shot up, panic surging through her veins. "We have to go. Now." Matt grabbed her wrist. "Whoa. Slow down. Where are you going?" "To find him," she said, her voice sharp. To get Lily away from him before she couldn't even say it. Matt exhaled heavily, running a hand through his hair. "Liv, we can't just storm into this without a plan. Ethan's dangerous. He's always been one step ahead." "I don't care," Olivia snapped. "He took her, Matt. He's been seeing her behind my back. Who knows what lies he's been feeding her?" Lily watched them with wide eyes, oblivious to the storm brewing in her mother's chest. Olivia forced herself to breathe. She crouched beside her daughter, brushing a gentle hand over her curls. "Lily, honey," she said, keeping her voice steady. "Where's Daddy's house? Can you show Mommy?" Lily's face scrunched in thought. I don't know the name, but it's really big. And there's a tall tree outside with a birdhouse." A flicker of recognition sparked in Olivia's mind. She knew that house. Years ago, before Ethan disappeared from her life, he had taken her there, a secluded estate just outside the city, a place where he could control everything. Matt must have recognized it too, because his expression darkened. "Liv, if he's back in that house, he's been planning this for a long time." Olivia stood, her hands trembling. She wasn't going to wait for Ethan to make the next move. Grabbing her keys, she turned to Matt. "You coming or not?" Matt hesitated for only a second before nodding. "Let's end this." As they headed for the door, Olivia cast one last glance at Lily. She would do anything to protect her daughter, even if it meant facing the devil himself. A mother's fury. Olivia's hands gripped the steering wheel so tightly her knuckles turned white. The night stretched ahead, dark and endless, as her car sped toward the place she had sworn never to return to. Matt sat in the passenger seat, checking the gun he kept tucked in his glove compartment. "We don't know what we're walking into," he muttered. Ethan always had people around him. He never worked alone. "I don't care," Olivia said, her voice ice cold. "I just want Lily back." Her mind reeled with memories she had buried for years. Of Ethan's smooth lies, his promises that felt like magic, the moment she had discovered his deception. He had stolen from people, broken lives apart, and now he was trying to steal hers. Her daughter. A muscle in her jaw twitched as she pressed the gas pedal harder. She wouldn't let him. The iron gates of Ethan's estate loomed in the headlights, just as she remembered, tall, imposing, like the man himself. They were slightly open. Matt cursed under his breath. "He's expecting us." Olivia didn't hesitate. She pushed the gate wider and drove through, gravel crunching beneath the tires. The mansion sat in eerie silence, its windows glowing dimly against the night. Olivia's heart pounded as she cut the engine and stepped out. Matt moved beside her. "Be ready." She didn't need to be told twice. With every step toward the door, Her pulse drummed louder in her ears. The wind carried a faint scent of pine and something else, something familiar. Lavender, Lily's shampoo. Olivia's stomach twisted. She reached the front door. It wasn't locked. Pushing it open, she stepped inside. The grand foyer looked almost exactly as she remembered. Ornate chandeliers, polished floors, expensive furniture that screamed wealth and power. But she wasn't here to admire the decor. She was here to take back what was hers. A shadow moved at the top of the grand staircase. And then Ethan appeared, tall, poised, a knowing smile tugging at the corner of his lips. He hadn't changed. Not really. His dark hair was still perfectly styled, his tailored suit crisp. He looked like a man who had already won. "Liv," he said smoothly, descending the stairs as if he had all the time in the world. "I was wondering when you'd show up." Olivia's hands clenched into fists. "Where is she?" Ethan's smile didn't falter. "Sleeping, safe and sound." He tilted his head, studying her. "You don't need to look so worried. She's happy here." Olivia took a sharp step forward. "She's not yours." Ethan sighed, as if she were being unreasonable. "But that's where you're wrong." He reached the bottom of the stairs, standing just a few feet from her now. "Lily is mine. She always has been." A sick feeling twisted in Olivia's gut. Matt's voice was low, dangerous. "You need to let her go. Now." Ethan chuckled. "And what? Let you take her back to that sad little apartment? Let her grow up believing I abandoned her?" He shook his head, clicking his tongue. "No, Liv. I'm here to fix your mistakes." Olivia's nails dug into her palms. "You think she's better off with you? A con artist? A criminal?" Ethan's smile faltered for the first time. "I've changed," he said, though his eyes told a different story. "I have the resources to give Lily a life you never could. And, whether you like it or not, she loves me." The word sliced through Olivia like a knife, because she knew, deep down, that part of them was true. Lily did love him, but love built on lies was not love at all. Olivia straightened, her voice calm but unwavering. "I don't care how much money you have, Ethan. You don't own her. She is my daughter, and I will never let you manipulate her the way you manipulated me." Ethan sighed, shaking his head. "Such a shame, Liv. I really thought we could be civil about this." He turned slightly, and Olivia saw it. The glint of a gun tucked in the waistband of his pants. Her breath caught. Matt saw it too, his body tense beside her. The air in the room shifted. And just like that, the real fight had begun. Taking back what's hers, the room felt like it was holding its breath. Olivia's pulse thundered in her ears as Ethan's fingers twitched near his waistband, where the gun was tucked. Matt shifted beside her, ready, but Olivia didn't move. She didn't need to. A small sound broke the silence. Soft footsteps. Lily. She stood at the top of the stairs, her tiny figure framed by the dim glow of a hallway light. Rubbing her sleepy eyes, she looked down at them, confusion flickering across her face. "Mommy." Olivia's heart clenched. She forced herself to stay calm, to keep her voice steady. "I'm here, baby." Ethan turned slightly, just enough to look up at Lily, and in that moment Matt moved. Fast. Before Ethan could react, Matt lunged, his hand shooting out and grabbing Ethan's wrist. A struggle broke out, quick, brutal. The gun clattered to the floor. Olivia didn't think. She acted. She darted forward, kicking the gun across the floor, far out of Ethan's reach. He shoved Matt back, but Olivia was already moving, grabbing Lily's hand. "Come on, sweetheart," she whispered urgently. Lily blinked up at her, still groggy. "But, Daddy?" The single word sent a pang through Olivia's chest, but she didn't stop. Ethan wasn't Daddy. Not really. She scooped Lily into her arms and bolted for the door. Matt was right behind her, throwing one last punch that sent Ethan sprawling to the floor before he ran after them. They burst outside into the night, gravel crunching under their feet as they ran for the car. "Get in." Matt barked, yanking open the driver's door. Olivia jumped into the back seat, cradling Lily against her chest. She barely had time to click the seatbelt before Matt floored the gas pedal, sending them speeding through the open gates. Only when they were miles away did Olivia finally allow herself to breathe. Lily snuggled closer, her small fingers gripping Olivia's shirt. "Are you mad at me, Mommy?" she whispered. Olivia's throat tightened. She pressed a kiss to Lily's forehead. "No, baby. Never. I'm just so happy you're safe." Lily hesitated, then murmured, "I thought Daddy was nice, but he scared me sometimes." Tears burned Olivia's eyes, but she held them back. "You never have to see him again," she promised. Matt glanced at her through the rearview mirror. "We'll make sure of it." Olivia met his gaze and nodded. For the first time in a long time, she felt like she had won. She held Lily a little tighter. She was finally free. And this time, Ethan would never get close to them again.